Call the meeting order. Okay. Have a flag salute. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
the Eagles. Okay, public content. In the event of an emergency, all people may exit right or left from this room and proceed to an exit door. All doors will open from the inside. Not applicable for virtual remote meetings. Open public meeting announcement. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meeting of bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provision of this act, the Heldon Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published in the North Jersey Record Herald News, the board official newspaper, on January 10th, 2024. Notice of this meeting indicating date, time, and place posted publicly on the door of the main entrance of the school and filed with the clerk in the municipality of Heldon. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi,
Here.
Mr. Coletta,
Present.
Ms. Quadrado.
Here.
Mr. Guzman. Mr. Martinez. Mr. Matzo.
Here.
Mr. Ramadan.
Here.
Mr. Webb. And Mrs. Issa.
Okay. At this time, we will approve board goals. So moved. 2024, 2025.
Second.
He says roll.
Roll call.
Mr. Abbasi,
Yes.
Mr. Coletta,
Yes.
Ms. Quadrado,
Yes.
Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mr. Matzo,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes,
Dr. Webb.
just one question. Did we discuss when we would have a meeting in regards to the number 2? In regards to the virtual attendance? Did we talk about? specifics?
Yeah, Madam President mentioned the last meeting, is that after approval of the goals, you probably call for the policy committee to
Oh, policy.
establish a policy and then have a committee meeting to go over it prior to presenting it to the board.
Thank you. All right, yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Sorry, what am I voting on?
you're voting on the approval of the board goals.
Yes.
All right, now we go to approval of prior minutes from the regular meeting, June 10th, and the executive meeting, June 10th, 2024.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
It's moved by Mr. Abbasi and second by Mr. Martinez.
That's right.
And Mr. Abbasi,
Yes.
Mr. Coletta,
Abstain.
Ms. Quadrado.
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mr. Matzo,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
and Dr. Webb.
Yes.
Okay. Hearing of citizens on agenda items only,
So moved. Second.
moved by Mr. Webb and second by Mr. Martinez. Roll call, please.
Mr. Vassie,
Yes.
Mr. Coletta,
There she is.
Yes.
Ms. Sagrado,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes. Carlos, help it down.
Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mr. Maxwell,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Dr. Webb,
Yes.
and Ms. Elizabeth. Here. Yes.
We just approved the hearing of citizens. Opening
Oh.
the floor.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. So would anybody here like to address the board on agenda items only for anybody online? Ms. Serna, please come to the front so you can be on the camera.
Just have a question about the aides that we require a high school diploma. Why are we paying them all the same salary? And how are you guys planning on obtaining your goals and trying to read or listen in?
What was the last thing you just said?
Like your goals, your board.
The board goals, how are we going to achieve them?
Yeah.
Anybody else? No? Okay, motion to close.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Maxwell.
Vice versa.
Mr. Vassie,
Yes.
Mr. Coletta,
Yes.
Mr. Grado.
Yeah.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Martinez,
Yes.
Mr. Maxwell,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Dr. Webb,
Yes.
and Mrs. Issa.
Yes. Okay, so I would like to address the board goals. We are going to discuss that in the meeting, during the meeting. And we are also going to vote on our goals tonight. You know, as far as salary goes, there's a guide and there are steps, and you know, that's how all schools operate. I don't know if Ms. Augustin wants to add anything.
I think the hiring of the aides are determined by their experience, and I guess we will determine that by the supervisor that hired them.
Yeah, just to be totally candid, we were at a point, I think it was a year and a half ago or something like that, where I saw how hard it was to get good quality aids. So I set the floor at $21 an hour for hiring, because you get more McDonald's based on what we were paying before. So that's where I bumped every aide up to that floor. And that's what we're looking to hire people at now, and our retention rates have improved, so I was happy we did that.
This is for the instructional aids, what we're talking about.
Yeah, like
50 cents
if the child
difference between like a high grade and a low grade, essentially, right, from the hourly rates that are here. In section, I'm assuming the question was in regards to 917. So like most of the folks are $22. Are we talking about those instructional aids?
Well, so there's a guide that I think was in an attachment to the board agenda, and basically, you know, we kept the ones the guide we had before, but we just expanded upon it. So instead of numerical, steps, we add lettered steps, or maybe vice versa. But the $21 an hour is the payment. There's not anything that's less than that.
Is that the 2163?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Just trying to log into the meeting. So I want to request that we move approving the board until after my report, because I want to give, oh, we already voted on them?
The
Oh,
board votes number 3, right?
okay, all right, well, all righty then. So then let's go to, and we already did the minutes. Okay, so then it's my report. So first, I just want to apologize for arriving late. My train was delayed, so I just, got here as quickly as I could. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I hope everyone's summer's off to a good start. So first off, I want to congratulate our recent 8th grade graduates who are now HPS alumni. We had a lovely graduation ceremony on June 19th, in which we had the opportunity to celebrate our 8th graders and all of their accomplishments and wish them luck as we send them off to high school and a new life outside of the walls of Keller Public School. It was wonderful to see the graduates together as a class for the last time and hear from our valedictorian and salutatorian while their teachers, families, and friends cheered them on. Shout out to Vice Principal David Spazzato, 8th grade advisor Brian Morgan, and all the staff who helped put this memorable evening together. Secondly, I want to get back to our board retreat that took place on June 1st. So I hope that our board members had a chance to review the report from Ms. Hellowa, the summary report. So we covered a lot of the retreat, and I discussed that at our last board meeting. But our next step is to vote, which you already did, and it was approved. Yes.
Yes.
Great. So so then I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna read through them, but I do want to mention a couple of recommendations that also arose from the retreat. Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, I can read it. So our proposed goals are increase commissioner attendance at board and committee meetings. That was the same one we had last year. This is a new one. Establish a policy on virtual attendance of board meetings by commissioners and the public, addressing in particular executive session. And then the third one we revised, prioritize dynamic and creative approaches to board professional development, which will foster teamwork and increase commissioners' knowledge. So in addition to those board goals that are now passed, there were a couple of recommendations. One of them was assessing the board goals periodically throughout the year. And then another one was including occasional discussion during board meetings of, critical educational topics from, news articles or other credible sources in order to increase the knowledge and awareness of, these important issues that could affect or do affect our district. So this is the end of my report. Does anybody have any questions about the goals or the recommendations? Yes, Mr. Guzman.
I just want to say that I'm very sorry I couldn't make it to, as you're aware, Madam President and most board members, I couldn't make it to the board retreat because I was actually in Mexico on vacation. But I want to say that I'm very proud of this board. And I want to commend the Madam President because you have set out an endeavor to make us a certified board, which is something that we have not seen. So we have our full support in that endeavor, and I thank all of you very much. And I did read the report from Ms. Hellowa, and we have work to do, and I look forward to being part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Anyone else? Any questions or comments?
I have a comment.
Yeah.
I went through the summary and I just wanted to say, Kathleen, she did a great job in that summary, and I appreciate that the articles were included and, even the slides. So
Yeah, it was very, it was a good, summary and
even
reaction
though
of
it was
what
a summary, it was very detailed,
yeah,
which was great.
for sure. So that's helpful for those who weren't able to make it. I did want to mention a couple of things. So regarding the second goal, establish a policy on virtual attendance. So I'm going to talk, when we get to the policy committee, I'm going to talk about that. And as I mentioned last week, I'm going to be asking the policy committee to do some work on that, but I'll address that when we get to that part of the agenda. So regarding the recommendation of, sharing articles, occasional, doesn't have to be every meeting, but if you come across an article or some, credible source discussing an educational topic that you think is, worthy of discussion at a board meeting, share it. Send it to Lanika, to Ms. Augustin and Lois beforehand so that it can get on the agenda. And then, we can have a discussion about it. I think that's a really good way to build. This is gonna, this relates to our third goal of prioritizing and making professional development, something that we strive for, right? And it's not just for the sake of having the certification or for saying, for saying that we did this or that or checking off a box. It's, so that we really increase our knowledge and we know, we're not educators. Most of us here, well, Dr. Webb is, but most of us are not educators by profession. But, we can still be informed about educational topics that'll only make us better board members and help us to better serve our district and our students. So, and regarding the checkpoints, assessing the board goals, I think that if we did it twice a year, that would suffice. Like if we did a midpoint check, maybe. So we start these goals, I mean, really they're rolling, but let's say, if we wanted a firm date, like to start in September, and then we check like in, December or January, and then we check again before our next retreat, which has always been, sometime in early June or maybe late May, mid-May. But if anybody, has other suggestions to do it more often.
Mr. Coletta has a question.
Okay, oh yeah, go ahead, Mr. Coletta.
Hi. Let's start off. I say I support the board goals, and I voted yes to the board goals. I do have two questions. One, what was the total cost of that retreat?
It was probably pretty inexpensive because we had it in-house and we did a potluck. So, but we did cater. We did have some.
I don't know if you guys can hear me, but
I'll get that information specifically on the cost of the contracts and the food. Custodian on site specifically for the board retreat, but I believe the custodian might have been on site for construction. That was the one thing
We had kids there too.
yeah, so it was, the custodian was there for other reasons, so I just wanted to make sure that wasn't a special, isolated incident. So, but I can get that told.
Madam
Oh.
President?
Yes. Yeah.
Can perhaps our superintendent or Ms. Augustine, can you give some insight as to where other boards conduct their board retreats, like some examples of where they go or places?
A lot of times they'll rent out like hotels, like that suite, like a hotel conference.
Hotel conference room,
Some
far away.
will
What
go
else?
like the Poconos overnight.
Poconos overnight. Okay.
We kind of go low budget.
Yeah, we stay in our little library. We have a little board.
And I personally prefer it that way. I think this is our home base. It's we take a few hours out on a Saturday morning, and I think it's really nice that way. And it's cost effective. So, Mr. Coletta, you said you had a second question.
yeah, I couldn't hear the answer, so I apologize. It was like half muted, half not muted. I appreciate that we take the effort to not waste even more money and rent out a hotel room, but I don't feel like a lot of these goals are very basic and common sense, and everybody on this board is pretty professional, and everybody has professional jobs. I'm pretty sure that we could have came up with the same goals without spending money to pay an outside consultant. Again, I just don't want to see us put ourselves in a position where we're frivolously wasting taxpayers' money. And it's the second one since I've been on the board. I don't think it's necessary going forward, but that's just my own personal opinion. But thank you. I still, like I said, I couldn't hear the answer, but I'll get it from minutes later. Thank you.
Okay, so well, Ms. Augustine is going to get us the cost of the retreat, but we all a lot of other boards have it out. They have it overnight, so it's pretty inexpensive. And I appreciate, all due respect, I don't agree at all with, I think retreats are so valuable. It's not just about coming up with goals. It's about, getting together, talking about how we can improve, how we can move our district forward, how we can work together. All those, it was not a training. It was not a working session. It's more of like a reflective, gathering, right? A time when we spend together to really think about what our role is. Did you want to add something, Miss?
It was like team building, we came together as a board, we gave opinions, and it brought us.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a huge part of it. Besides reflecting on what we have done, what we want to do, what we need to do. Just getting together, is and team building. How we can support each other, how we can support Mr. Walker and Ms. Augustine. I think that's really valuable. I think it's really important. And if we can do it at relatively inexpensively, I think that's so worthwhile. The board goals are just really something that comes out of the retreat. It's not that we did the retreats in order to create board goals. It was just something that came that we came up with as a result of the retreat. So yes.
All I appreciate Mr. Coletta's comment as far as saving taxpayer dollars. I think this board has proven that we take that very, very seriously, right? And this is not a knock on any other board. I mean, every board, they're elected for a reason. If they choose to have a board retreat at a hotel or the Poconos or the Bahamas, that's their prerogative. This board has proven to be very, very fiscally responsible. And any organization, I can tell you this from firsthand experience running a police department, team building, those type of interactions are very, very crucial, because it's important that we work together, and it's important that we have a facilitator, right? We have a facilitator that's not a member of this board, someone that's an independent mind that's coming in facilitating our ideas, put it on paper, put it all together, organizing it. It's very, very important. It brings us closer together. And in the interest of transparency, we use Kathleen Valero, right? We feel comfortable with Kathleen. I mean, whoever doesn't feel comfortable with Kathleen is more than welcome to raise their hand and say, I don't feel comfortable with Kathleen. We feel comfortable with Kathleen because she has been our representative. I mean, I'm the longest serving board member here. I'm in my 4th term. Kathleen has been with us for a very, very long time. So why would we do something different? I'll say it right on the record. Kathleen Halewa is no longer with the New Jersey School Board Association. It is what it is. So yes, we pay her a fee to come and do this because we feel comfortable with her. She does a phenomenal job. And that's what this board chooses. And whoever doesn't like it, very simple, vote us out. Okay? We want Kathleen Halewa to facilitate this. Now, if there's a board member that doesn't want Kathleen Halewa, that rather have the New Jersey School Boards Association come in to do it, then by all means, bring that up, bring it to the forefront. You know what I mean? But to just, we have to be careful, because a lot of times we're using our platform here as board members to like stand on a soapbox and I'm advocating for tax dollars. Advocating for tax dollars? What are we talking about here? At the end of the day, this board has proven that we take tax dollars very seriously. We're debt free. We have a fully staffed school. We didn't raise taxes for 5 years straight. And not to go on a tangent here, but I have to make something very clear. I was going to say this for old business, Madam President, but if you will indulge me. This board, do you think that this state funding just fell out the sky? No. That is this board fighting. Meeting with Benji Wimberly, meeting with Nellie Poe, meeting with Shavonda Sumter, so on and so forth, our state representatives, and fighting for the full funding of our public school. And they have delivered for us, okay? And you think that fight ends now? It doesn't end now. We're gonna continue to fight. We're gonna continue. I was proud to sponsor the first resolution that this board delivered in 2017 that was done in a symbolic measure that was sent to our state representatives, urging them, fighting that we need the state to step up and fully fund our schools like they have promised us to do, like it's in the law for them to do, and we're going to continue to do that. And because of that state funding, we were able to keep taxes at 0% for 5 years in a row. Yeah, this year, it's at 2% now. Yeah, it's at 2% now because we have to get ready for the future. We're going to have a new governor. This is all transparent. It's all in the open to the public. We're going to have a new governor. We don't know where the state's headed with the funding formula. So we have to be careful. We have to prepare for the future. But if you think that we're just going to sit idle and allow them to just cut our budget and cut our state funding, absolutely not. I'll be the first one to march down to Trenton, okay, and continue to fight for the full funding of our school, because with the full funding of our schools, we're able to do great things, such as bringing in a school resource officer, such as a certified angels program, such as other workshops and clubs for our children, keeping our school fully staffed, staying debt free, keeping taxes stabilized. That is what this board has done. Responsible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Guzman. And one of the big topics during our retreat was finances and school budgets. And I think it would, and to Mr. Guzman's point, there are opportunities for board members to advocate for, funding for districts. And, we often will get advisories from New Jersey School Board Association, letting us know if we should, contact our congressman or contact our elected officials. So we should, be vigilant of that. And I mean, that's a topic that we can discuss if there are any articles or, relevant issues, that are happening, the timely, we can discuss that just for general knowledge and to inform ourselves of what we can do as board members to increase our, to keep our budget, our funding coming, and to make sure that, to secure it. But yeah, I mean, we wouldn't spend money on a facilitator or anything like that if we didn't have it. We were able to cover it. So, and it was, it's a relatively, it's not a big expense. But in any case, does anybody else have any questions or comments about recommendations, the goals, or anything like that?
You said for the second goal, we're going to discuss something.
Yeah, we're going to discuss it just because it pertains to the policy committee. So I'll just wait until we get to that to discuss that one. Let me see if I said, okay, well, if there's nothing else, I'm going to turn it over to our chief school administrator, Mr. Waka.
Yeah, so to jump onto the point we just talked about, I think one of my strengths is that I can identify the value that people bring to an organization and how that's going to affect the operation and also benefit the kids. As a board member in Verona, when I first got on, I thought there were some things that our board could do a lot better. Like this board actually works a lot better than we did working first at Verona. So I do to bring in Kathleen because she's someone that was going to bring up the healthy conversations that needed to be had. So it was the kind of thing where, the service kids and the service organization, the same thing we did here, I did where I was. My first point is at the end of another school year. This year, the theme of the year was construction. We got a whole lot of it paid off, fortunately, through the ESSER. So I got to thank both John, Sarah Piglia, and Lamika, because it wasn't just like a one-time thing. It was a long process. And you can see the construction really is starting to take form. It looks like a classroom. We did a tour a couple of weeks ago, and you can start to see like the skeleton of the second floor, gaining traction. But there's a lot of moving parts this year. For a school that needed more room, to lose 7 different classrooms in October, that was as tough as COVID, as far as logistics. So I just got to thank, all the professionals we have, retrofitting the library, Mr. Gavin moving out, the librarian have to move out, classes being combined. Mr. Trito did probably the best job as he could have done, is, thinking outside the box creatively to make that happen. But the school year, the kids still learn, they still had a positive experience, and now we're going to, benefit real soon from this addition. Speaking of additions, the playground purchase order was sent. I don't know if you were at the last board meeting, George, but the inclusion part of the playground is really neat. Like, you're going to see sensory boards all over it. What I like the most is the way that the rides or the things that kids are going to do in the playground. They're going to have to cooperate and communicate with each other in order to use the 4-person seesaw, in order to use this, or there's a lot of music and sound and touch. So I think it's going to be a kind of thing where you're really going to like it when we do our ribbon cutting ceremony for that. I think George brought this up earlier, but I was really happy before I looked at our website and we're fully staffed. And just because it's part of my job to see what's going on elsewhere, I'll often look at the other schools' websites and look at the job opportunities which are legally required to put on their website. And in a lot of schools, I'm thinking 10, 11, 12, these are schools in our area, positions open. And so I just wanted to thank, Danielle Cusack. She's our teacher recruitment. She's a teacher, but she also, for a small stipend does our teacher recruitment. But she also teaches teachers at Montclair, so that really helps us get that first crack at a lot of good staff members. So we wouldn't be able to do that without her. So I wanted to give her a shout out for that. On Monday, our BOSS program is going to be here. Our ESY is going to start again. Our summer school and our certified angels, they're all going to start Monday. And speaking of the angels, I'm looking forward to going to the gala tomorrow night. I forget the name of the place it's at, but I'm looking forward to going to their fundraiser tomorrow. And then I received my evaluation that this board created at the last executive session. Not only did I receive it, I shared it with Lanika and I shared it with all my VPs because I really think there has to be that top-down communication where here's what my 9 bosses are looking to see. So here's the why of we have to make some changes. Here's the why, right? I thought that the evaluation was fair. I respected it. I appreciated it. The kind words I certainly appreciated, and I also appreciated the recommendations. I thought every part of that was fair, and that's my report.
Any questions for Mr. Walker? Thank you, Mr. Walker. Business Administrator, Ms. Addison?
Thank you. I'm just gonna go through the agenda items of the finance team, finance part of the agenda. So we have our northeastern payment application. We will continue to see our construction applications primarily monthly because most of the contractors like to get it in for each board meeting. I did mention in the finance meeting, a lot of the upfront applications that we paid for are coming out of ESSER because we do have to spend down that money by September 30th. So far, a lot of we do have to pay the payment up front, and then the state will reimburse us back once I submit the application. So this will be part of that. Any questions on that? The other item we have on here is our annual pest control app renewal. This is part of our maintenance to the building. Will be serviced for twice a month, and we will utilize this company for the rest of the year. Real time is our student information software. We also house our IEP items there too. So this, we talked about in our finance team, this is the software that we use to all the student data, the grading, scheduling, some of the announcements and everything goes through this software. So this is something that we annually do to kind of circulate information throughout the district on our student data. 15.9, the Leisure Way program is, this is new. This is an activity that is related to, I believe it's the SEL. This is, we are looking at an activity to help the kids kind of cope with like teen suicide and other things that as it relates with the assembly. So it's like a 3-day workshop, and it's like there is a 10% discount in the mileage charge of $450 with the cost of the whole contract is $450. And if we this aligns with our ESSER funds, we will use it to ESSER to pay for this. We have our annual lead.
So on that one, you said it's a 3-day workshop. Is that for, you know, how many folks that covers for the workshop?
I do not know. I do not need people to cover.
What number are we on? Sorry.
We are on 15. Students?
Is this
Is it
a workshop for students or for
It's an
teachers?
assembly
It's assembly for
students.
students.
It's assembly.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Then don't worry about it.
So we have our annual lead testing statement that we send to the county every year. So this is a form that we have to complete and send to the county. We have 3 years. I believe it's 3 years that every 3 years we have to do actual full water test, which we will be doing, I believe, in September. That's on the expiration date. But every year we have to send it out to the county for approval. And our annual insurance, which is 15.12. This is our coverage, our blanket coverage for everything: auto, our workers' comp, student insurance, all of the insurance coverage that the district needs. This is us renewing our insurance application. And it did go up this year in different categories, but for overall, the pricing is relative to the market now. And that is all I have.
So let's start going through the personnel and management, Mr. Goodman.
I'm sorry, agenda items only, but if I may, I just want to say, I have to go back to the fiscal responsibility thing. I'm sorry, I have to, because my wife last year, I remember she woke up at 4 a.m. to make empanadas. We did a whole potluck. And you're gonna talk to us about fiscal responsibility? Give me a break. You know, you have boards that are catering food from the higher, you know, and we're over here, folk, our Madam President is making ropa vieja, our chef is cooking on our own dime. Nobody pays us to do this. You know, talk to us about fiscal responsibility. I'm sorry, I can't stay shut. I have to say something. As long as folks always want to talk about the negative, I'm going to be the one that's going to bring up the positive. For example, we have a new addition on this school, a new addition. A new addition. How much money came out of taxpayer funds? I want to know, Mr. Walker, help me out. Madam Secretary, help me out.
It's a low percentage.
Yeah, we have millions that came through the ESSER.
That's just the
And then-
lion's share.
And then we-
Exactly. We have used federal funds, okay, putting it away responsibly for years. Let me just take you all folks down the trip down memory lane, if I may, memory lane. When I was board president years ago, it was my first year on the board, I convened an ad hoc committee to explore the expansion of the Hildon Public School. Mr. Walker, do you remember that?
Yes, yes, we were downstairs in the library.
Or last in the library, I had the mayor on that committee, all stakeholders, Corrado was on that committee. How are we going to do this? Folks were very hesitant to go down that path because it was going to cost us an enormous amount of money to get that project done. We have to go for referendum, and we have to raise taxes, so on and so forth. This board delivered a whole expansion to a school without having to raise taxes. But talk to us about fiscal responsibility. You got to come here, you got to say that we're not doing this and we're not doing that. How about all the positive things that we're doing? As long as you're coming here talking about the negative, I'm going to be the one. If nobody else wants to say something, I'll do it. I'm not going to have anybody disrespect this board and put us down like we're not doing our job, like we don't care about our beloved children.
I'd like to respond when he's done with his grandstanding.
Okay, the only one that grandstands, my man, is you. You need to cut it out. Have you
You
met
seem like you only have
have you
something to
met
say
with
when I'm
Benji
not there.
Wimberly? Have you met with Bill Pasquarello?
Okay, you
Madam
know what?
President, I have the floor.
Okay,
I have the floor.
okay, wrap it up, Mr. Guzman,
I
please,
will wrap
because I
it
don't
up.
want this to escalate.
Hasn't met with Benji Wimberly, hasn't met with Bill Pasquarello, hasn't met with our state senator, has not done nothing, does nothing but grandstand. Like, come on. Get off, please. Get off your stage and go do the people's work.
Okay, all right, let me say this.
All right,
Board
I'm
members
I
have,
say this with the utmost respect. I got number love for Mr. Coletta. He's a fellow officer. Okay.
I never disrespected any of you, and you're attacking me constantly. But you only choose to do it when I'm not
I'm
there.
not. Hold on, time out. I'm not attacking.
We've had this discussion
I have the
privately
floor, man. I have
multiple
the
times.
floor.
You
I'm
wait
wrapping
until
up.
I'm not
I have the
there
floor.
to
I have
discuss
the floor. I'm wrapping up.
okay, you know what? I'm calling this, both of you, please, okay? I respect both. As board members, you both have a right to express your opinion, but I don't want,
But
I don't want an
Madam President,
argument.
he's cutting me off. I have the floor. That's not fair.
I know, but
When
Mr.
when he
Guzman,
speaks, I don't say anything. I stay shut.
okay, wrap it up. I'm gonna give
Okay,
Mr.
I just wanna
Coletta
say
a minute
this.
and then.
I just want to say this. I have the utmost respect for Mr. Coletta. He is a brother officer in blue. He works very hard. Okay, that's in terms of his job. I have no problems. The issue is that's not about you, Mike. It's about anyone that comes here, whether it's a board member or whether it's a member of the public that tries to say that we're not doing the best we can do for our children and for our taxpayers. I just can't stay shut. I'm gonna have to say something because it's not true. Now, if you want to talk about the positive things, and I'm wrapping up, okay, and you want to bring things up, that's fine, but constantly the negative, like, come on, we're doing positive things too. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Of course we can do better. Now, if you help us, we will do better because we could use you, my brother. We could use other folks that come here and talk about all the negative. That's all I'm saying. We need to work together. Okay, we can't sit up here on the soapbox. Well, how about the tax dollars? Trying to create an inference to the public like we're not saving tax dollars. And I'm supposed to sit here and stay shut? I can't. I'm sorry. Call the ethics, call the FBI, call the AG. I'm not staying shut because it's not true.
All right, Mr. Coletta, I'm gonna give you a minute to reply and then we're gonna move on.
Okay, so George got 12 minutes to talk about what he wanted. I get a minute. That's fine. I didn't say anything disrespectful. I didn't say anything rude. I didn't even attack the board. I specifically said I voted for the board goals. I said that everyone on the board was a professional and I had respect for everyone on the board. But anytime I'm not there, you take any chance you get to attack me. I didn't say any of that. And we both know if you pull the numbers, the districts that got money are districts in which the towns have Democratic mayor and council, and the towns whose money was cut were Republican-led towns. And that's factual. You can pull the numbers from the state report. I didn't attack anyone. All I'm saying that is, however unlikely it is that New Jersey could have a governor of a different political affiliation, that in the event that something like that would happen, like it did under Chris Christie, you would have to worry about the fact of the funding being cut, which is what happened when he did it in what appeared to be a retaliatory way against the Democratic run towns. And I don't agree with that because it's the kids who suffer. All I'm saying is that certain things, I expressed my opinion after voting for what everyone wanted, to say that I thought we don't need to do a board retreat. I didn't attack anybody else. I think it's a waste of money. That's my opinion.
Okay.
That's all.
All right, we're moving on. Okay, let's move on to curriculum and technology.
Agenda item, Zoe.
Okay, okay, so now policy and public relations. There's no agenda items, but I want to discuss this, our second goal, which is to establish a policy on virtual attendance of board meetings by commissioners and the public, addressing in particular executive session. All right, so now that this goal was approved, I'm going to ask the policy committee to do some research and draft some language around a new board policy regarding virtual attendance at meetings, and in particular during executive session. So see what other districts are doing. You know, think about things like, should there be a limit to how many consecutive virtual meetings board members can attend? Should the cameras be on? Should participating in executive session virtually be allowed? And this is an important one. This is something that we discussed at the retreat. You know, and then regarding the public, should the cameras be on when the public is, if somebody from the public is speaking, should their cameras be on? Should their names always be displayed on the screen? So especially if they're speaking. So Ms. Augustin had shared some information with me that I'm going to share with the policy committee, but you know, I want the policy committee to do some research and you know, come up with a draft policy for us to share at the, so we have a meeting in July. So for the August 19th meeting, I would like for the policy committee to share with the rest of the board a draft policy. And I want to stress that I am not, this goal, and me personally, does not mean that we're trying to eliminate virtual attendance. I think that virtual attendance is a benefit. And I would much rather have the board members be here virtually than not be here at all. But I think we need some guidelines so that will, you know, kind of keep things in order and, you know, benefit everyone. So, you know, that's where this is coming from. So Mr. Martinez, you are the chair for the policy committee. So I'm going to ask you to take the lead.
Yeah.
And, you know, reach out if you have any questions or need some guidance. But, you know, I'll ask that the policy committee have something for the board for the August 19th meeting. And I will share the information that Ms. Augustin shared with me.
Madam President,
Yes.
is it all right to just have a quick discussion on that?
Yeah.
As someone who's virtual a lot with the newborn, I do feel that the executive part maybe shouldn't be allowed if we're not in the building. But other than that, I feel like the virtual option, like you stated, is great for people who are just not able to be in the presence in the moment.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think during, we had at the board retreat, the majority of the discussion was regarding executive session. And you don't know if somebody else is in the room with them. It's supposed to be private. You know, if they turn on their camera, who else is there? Who else is watching? Who else is listening? So really, that's where this kind of spurred from. So that's probably where I mean, we'll look at other policies that other districts have and build something from there.
It's also fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. It's not a big-
Yeah. I mean, I do look to see what other districts are doing. And, you know, we don't have a policy right now. That's the thing. There is no policy. So we need a policy. And, you know, just, so you draft something, right? And then after you do your research, after you draft something, and then, we'll vote on it. You'll make your case, right? And then we'll vote on it. Okay?
But
Yes,
I've seen some other districts where like policies such as no more than 3 virtual meetings in a row or something like that. I don't know if that's something you want to look at.
Mhm.
I mean, unless it's an emergency, again, it has its place. But I just wanted to relay that to Mr. Martinez. I don't know.
yeah. That's one of the things to consider, it doesn't have to be 3, but that's one of the
Yeah,
things
sure.
to consider. Should there be a limit to how many meetings, consecutive meetings that you can attend virtually? That's one of the things that you should be looking at. And also, things like, the camera being on and, things like that. Any other discussion or questions about that?
No, I'm just taking notes.
Okay, great. Alrighty, so let's move on to security and safety. Mr. Guzman?
Agenda.
Community engagement outreach, Mr. Abassi?
Nothing to report, but I would just like to take one quick moment to echo some of the thoughts of the other board members with regards to the graduation. Congratulations to the graduates, the co-valedictorians. In particular, I thought Medina's speech was excellent.
You're right. I stand corrected. I said salutatorian, but they were actually co-valedictorians, right? Okay. And then finance and physical parent, Mr. Motzko.
We met, went over the bills, and that agenda items.
Okay. For the state and county, so in relation to the board recommendation about increasing, our professional development on key educational issues, there is a podcast that's going to air on July 15th at 1:30 regarding artificial intelligence. And whether we like it or not, that is, increasingly prevalent in our day-to-day lives, as well as in, that of our students and the school. So it should be an interesting discussion if anyone's interested. That's on July 15th at 1:30. And the information is on, we got an email. I'm not sure when we got it, but there's a phone number there. And then they usually, you can listen to those after. If you can't listen to it live, you can listen to it afterwards. I thought that was an interesting one. Whoop. And there's also some opportunities to get your mandated training done online if you need to get that done. And that email was sent on June 24th. So you can look if you need to get any of those in. And I didn't see Mr. Merlino. Is Mr. Merlino here? Okay, all right. So let's go back then. Okay, so let's go back then and start and vote for personnel and management, Mr. Goodman.
I'd like to move 9.1 through 9.20.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Guzman, seconded by Mr. Motzko. Roll call, please.
Okay. Mr. Abassi?
Yes.
Mr. Coletta?
Yes.
Mr. Dorado?
Yes.
Mr. Guzman?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mr. Luxon?
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan?
Yes.
Dr. Webb?
I would like to say something positive. Agenda item 9.9, I'd like to give a shout out to the 6 teachers on that agenda item who will receive the stipend for missing 2 or less personal sick days. I think that's really cool. It speaks a lot to the climate and culture to this building. Teachers genuinely want to be here, and I think that that's so crucial for our students to have continuity among our teachers. So shout out to those 6 teachers. That's pretty amazing.
Thanks, Dr. Webb.
Yes.
And Mrs. Issa?
Yes. Curriculum and technology, Dr. Webb.
I'd like to move 10.1 through 10.5.
Second.
Second.
By
Mr. Webb, seconded by Mr. Motzko. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi?
Yes.
Gladys?
Yes.
Ms. Quadrado?
Yes.
Mr. Grisman?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mr. Maxwell?
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan?
Yes.
Mr. Webb?
Yes.
And Mr. Zissou?
Yes. Security and safety, Mr. Guzman.
I'd like to move the one item on the agenda.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Guzman, seconded by Dr. Webb. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi?
Yes.
Mr. Coletta?
Yes.
Ms. Quadrado?
Yes.
Mr. Grisman?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mr. Maxwell?
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan?
Yes.
Dr. Webb?
Yes.
And Mr. Zissou?
Yes. And then, finance and physical plant, Mr. Motzko.
I'd like to move 15.1 through 15.12.
Second. Moved by Mr. Motzko, seconded by Ms. Quadrado. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abbasi?
Yes.
Mr. Coletta?
Yes.
Ms. Quadrado?
Yes.
Mr. Grisman?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mr. Maxwell?
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan?
Yes.
Dr. Webb?
Yes.
And Mr. Zissou?
Yes. Okay, so, I don't see, oh, here we go. Okay, new and old business is actually kind of in this place there, it's in before finance, but anyway, let's do new and old business. Does anybody have any? Yes, Mr. Guzman.
I'd like to call a security meeting very soon. I don't want to kick the can on the road on this. It's regarding the sidewalk that I'm suggesting at a small parking lot on Lee and Henry. Sidewalk that would give the students in the school community a safe passage to the small parking lot there between Lee Avenue and the Blacktop. Okay. So I want to discuss that and explore it in committee to see if it's a viable option and we can take it from there.
All right, I'll have Lois send out suggested dates, and hopefully we can either meet, we'll provide time to go.
Also, completing a doctorate degree, as you all know, is no easy feat. So again, congratulations to Mr. Webb, and I personally feel that it would be appropriate if doctor is on his nameplate. And in the interest of fiscal responsibility, I would like to donate that myself. Okay, Madam Secretary, is that doable?
You can pay for it. sure.
Absolutely.
Congrats.
Yes. I do have one item. So back in February, Mr. Rock and I met with the policy committee to discuss delayed opening policy. We had there were some concerns this winter because of the start time, and it was difficult for some parents to manage the delayed opening and getting to work. So, we met and we talked about a few different things, and then we said that we would, look to address this again for the new school year. So I want to ask Mr. Waka if he could, look into it and see if maybe we can adjust that time.
Yeah, so I think that's fair. You would provide me data which what the locals are doing. Some are current 10:30 time, some are a little bit earlier. I think 10 o'clock is something that I personally would be very comfortable with. Because Route 23 is really the beast that we're most concerned with, because a substantive percentage of our staff rely on that road. And when it gets icy up there in the wintertime, sometimes that could be a tough stretch up there. And, when you get to West Milford and past that, Bill probably knows that better than anybody. I think going from 10:30 to 10 would be something that this that operates the building. I think it's fair and doable. And if it's something that this board, if you get a strong poll or consensus that this is something the board would like, then I'd put that together and put that in communication with the parents.
I mean, we could discuss that right now. I mean, personally, I love the 10:30 opening, but usually on days like that, I'm working from home. So, but I totally get that it's tough for parents that have to be somewhere. So, I mean, I'm definitely for making it earlier. If we all agree now, then we can just give Mr. Waka our okay to go forward. Does anybody have a problem with moving it from 10:30 to 10?
how many people have addressed concerns with the 10:30 start time?
So it's a great question. So before the construction, we have to call more delayed openings and more days off than we would have normally because of the construction and the parking and all the logistics of that. Maybe some parents might have liked it, but I've never received a formal complaint about 10:30 until, we had to take more than we would normally take because of the construction. But to this Lisa's point, the parents that have the ability to drop their kids off at 10:30 because their employment or their lifestyle just makes that comfortable. They're not really the ones that are most likely to express that complaint because everything's either way it's fine with them for the most part. But there are parents where they have to drop the child off and get to work, and is that half an hour going to make or break someone? Maybe not, but it's something where we still want to, I think we should at least be conscientious of the people that, where childcare is a more paramount need. So that's my answer to your question, Nate.
Why don't we take a play out of Mr. Walker's playbook and do a survey?
So we could do that, right?
We're not in a rush.
But last time, right now, we're at a point where about 29% of our parents have checked the report cards.
And we're hoping that goes up with our
the parent liaison, yeah.
with the parent liaison.
We're also at a point where, even when we were doing the vice principal search survey, or when I got hired as the superintendent search survey, we only got maybe 40 people parents that filled it out. And summertime's also a tough time to survey people because people are going all over the place. I think it might be a better idea to consider making a change and then surveying afterward and saying, what did you think of that change? And then going back to a year or two from now if we get pushback. But I don't think it's going to be a hot button issue either way, to be honest.
How early does the building open for parents to drop kids off on a day like that?
A regular day?
Well, no, no, delayed opening.
Delayed day.
Oh, so delayed opening, the kids are going to, 10:30 is when the doors open.
Oh,
We don't have like a before care program.
Okay.
So 10:30 is the first open. Now there's time every single year, like the first day of school is going to come next year. And there's going to be kids that are dropping off here as early as 7 in the morning. And what I'll do is I'll call the parents respectfully and say, hey, listen, like it's a long time. Our doors are open to 7:45. It's just kind of dangerous, especially the little one. And the parents have always been receptive to receiving that phone call for the most part. But on the delayed opening, it's 10:30, and on the bad weather days, it's kind of crappy because they're waiting really hard. But if we don't have the staff, then we can't bring the kids in.
Are we to? Because I did remember some parents were definitely upset with the delayed opening time. Have we come to the point where this board should consider perhaps a stipend for some teachers to be here earlier?
So it's creating a morning care program would be something that I would be comfortable doing if that was what we decide to do in our board goals or our strategic planning goals. That's going to be a mammoth or a big scale program to put together. And if it's something that this board would say to me, here's one of our long-term goals, but it's not going to be something I'd be able to put together quickly.
And plus, I don't think I think that's a separate issue from the delayed opening because, a delayed opening, you might not get, even if you have teachers who are, contracted to do a before care program, like on a regular school day, they might not, be here early for a delayed opening.
I think
it's two different issues.
I mean, it's either the delayed opening at the time that we have or the school is closed. I mean,
so
half
I
an
think
hour,
if
is
we
it
went
really
to
gonna
10,
make
I
us
think
big?
I could still operate. I don't think that would really, that half-hour window would be very unlikely to make or break either way. Maybe in extremely rare circumstances, but I think that if this board says 10 o'clock something we're comfortable with, and that's something that if the board says I want to keep that 30, then that's what we'll do.
I think correct me if I'm wrong, I think you were referring to a stipend just on delayed opening days, right?
Just something they don't.
Yeah,
For
not
now,
like for throughout the school year. So parents could drop.
There's
their kids off
teachers
at
that do live closer.
Nearby.
they may
Well, it's
wanna
something
take
where,
it
so
back.
at the next board meeting, it's very likely we're gonna look to open a sidebar with the HEA about something very, very, very low grade, but it's still something we both kind of agree that we want to just put in writing. And, you know, I speak weekly with the HEA. I'll talk to them about that and get their response, but I can't put words in their mouth, but it's not impossible because that, for those rare circumstances, I think we probably get enough people that would be willing to do it. And we set the structure, kind of where we put the kids. But I don't think it's impossible.
So can we formally kick this to finance and just make sure that, you know, we have the funds and we can do it and try to make this happen, or you want to talk to them?
Let me do the HEA first.
Okay.
And do we want to say 10 though? Can we say that we will move it to 10?
Well, I think if what he was referring to, we would keep it at 10:30 and have.
And then have, so we would keep it at 10:30, but then have like a certain date this year for
Well,
like a before.
if you wanted, if the board wants me to have that conversation, like, again, I can't project exactly how the conversation is going to go, but I have a feeling it'll be a healthy conversation. I just think that before probably August 15th, have a decision made about, because I'm going to put the mailings out to the parents and make the faculty handbook and on the website. Here's what our start time is for regular, here's what our start time is for delayed openings. So do we need to make a decision now? No, it could wait till the July meeting. We have to.
Okay, that's fine. Then let's do
Mr. Walker, quick question. Is
Go
there
ahead,
anything in the teacher's contract about the delayed opening times or any of that, or is that not addressed in their
So
contract?
it's a great
I don't
question.
know.
Like, so that's a great question. There's nothing, to the best of my knowledge, there's nothing in the contract about that. But it's the kind of thing where if we opened up this stipendiary position, that would be
Right.
something that we'd want to add into a sidebar. And since we're very likely to open a sidebar anyway about a very different issue, it wouldn't be impossible if the HEA agrees to throw this in there with that.
And currently, when we have one of these days, what's the turnout like normally for the teachers? Do we normally get with the 10? Because it's a tough balancing act between
Yeah.
the parents and the teachers. If you don't have the teachers and the staff, you can't open anyway, and you also can't inconvenience the parents beyond what you know what I mean. So, do you get the staff mostly on these delayed opening days to not have an issue?
That's a
With
great
that
question, well, Mike, because what I found is that if a teacher lives in a particular town and that town goes delayed opening, or if that town does a day off, that teacher might have 2 or 3 kids at home in that town's school system. And it's those teachers, I think, have the hardest pathway to get to school, just because they have to worry about, you know, who's going to watch their own kids. So I found just anecdotally that those are the teachers that have the toughest time getting on those particular days. The teachers that are local, like one of the reasons I like hiring local is because they're local, like they're right here. The pathway to get here is not as far, but it is a balancing act, like you said.
Okay, so then let's leave this for July. We'll pick it up again in July. Okay. All right, thanks, everyone. Let's see. Okay, so I think we can I have a motion to open the floor to citizens?
So move. Second.
Moved by Mr. Guzman, seconded by Mr. Mosco. Roll call, please.
Mr. Rossi,
Yes.
Mr. Coletta,
Yes.
Ms. Quadrado,
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Martinez.
Yes.
Mr. Matzo,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Dr. Webb,
Yes.
and Mrs. Zissou.
Yes. Okay, so the floor is open.
I would just like to say that just because someone has a different opinion from another board member is zero right for an attack on another person. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's bad management. You're supposed to be the one who's managing this whole board. So I think that things need to be put to a stop when someone wants to get on soapbox.
Anybody else?
Motion's closed.
Okay, motion to close.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Martinez, seconded by Mr. Mosco. Roll call, please.
Mr. Rossi,
Yes.
Mr. Coletta,
Yes.
Ms. Quadrado.
Yes.
Mr. Guzman. Mr. Martinez.
Yes.
Mr. Matzo,
Yes.
Mr. Ramadan,
Yes.
Dr. Webb,
Yes.
Mrs. Zissou.
Yes. And let me just say for the record that nobody's attacking. There is no attacking going on. It's heated conversation and, it gets to a point and then you cut it off, but there's no attacking going on.
Madam President?
Yes.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. Please don't confuse my passion for public service for an attack on anyone, okay? And if anyone is on a soapbox, it's you. She comes here, only talks about the negative, has nothing constructive, has nothing constructive to say, okay? Everything is negative. And I'm not just going to sit here and take it. It's not going to happen, all right? It's not an attack. I am defending this board, and as long as I sit here, I'm going to continue. I'm going to have this board's back. I'm going to have my superintendent's back. I'm going to have our teachers back, and most of all, I'm going to have our children's back. Please do not confuse that. And if Mike was offended, I apologize, Mike. But that's not what we're here to do. Okay, we're here, and I'm going to extend the olive branch here to Ms. Serna, to anyone. Okay, if there's anything you want to bring to the table, I have a phone. You can call me. You can call the chief school administrator. You can call the board president, any board member. Anything we can do to help our community. That's what we're here to do. You know, and that's the bottom line.
Yep, that's it. We are here to help. We're here to oversee the district, to set policy for the district, to help our students, to help our administration, to help, you know, our community. That's why we're all here. You know, we're volunteers. We do it because we want to, you know, contribute and make a difference. So, and I think we're all on the same page with that, all of the board members, and, you know, and even, you know, our public too. Our public, you know, they come and they participate mainly because they want to see things improve. They want to see, you know, they want the best for our students and for our school. I think that we can all agree on that. We all want that. So, okay, so we are going to go into executive session. I would say no action will be taken.
Quick question. May I, Madam President, may I respond to the public comments?
Yeah, sure.
Again, I don't take any of the stuff that's said on here personally. However, in a rebuttal, I do think that when the board takes the criticism so harshly, and as Mr. Guzman stated, when his passion comes through and shows out, I do think that it does serve as a detriment to people wanting to come forward and speak, because a lot of people are not comfortable. While me and you can have a heated discourse and then be friendly later, I don't think that a lot of people can handle that. And I do think that it's a detriment to and I'm not saying it negatively or to disrespect you. However, I do think that it does. You see, we only have one person who's willing to come to the meetings regularly, and we only have one person who's willing to speak out. I would love to see more people rather than just one person. And again, it's not a personal attack. It's just the observation.
I will definitely take what Mr. Coletta said on the advisement, especially moving forward. If I'm going to preach unity, I need to lead by example, and I'm going to do that. But it's kind of hard. You know where I'm coming from, Mike. I would definitely take that under advisement. I want our board to work together for the betterment of this community, and I will definitely take that into consideration, because that's the last thing I want to do is dissuade anybody from coming here and saying how they feel. Okay, so I just want to make that very clear.
Yeah,
we encourage folks to come.
I appreciate all the comments, and, you know, going back to the virtual policy, it's, you know, I think it's so good that we have a virtual policy, because, you know, otherwise a lot of the teachers wouldn't be able to participate. And, you know, we do have some of the public that, you know, joins in virtually. So, you know, we absolutely want to encourage people to come to the meetings and to, you know, to ask questions and to speak up if they think, you know, something could be done better. And, you know, we're gonna take it in stride. We're gonna take it under advisement, and, you know, that's why it's important for us to have a strong team, for us to be, you know, on the same page, so that we can, you know, move our district forward. That's the main goal. So, okay, so going back to executive session, we are going to take, I would say, between half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. No action will be taken. So can I have a motion to go into executive session?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Martinez, seconded by Mr. Moscow. Roll call, please.
Mr. Vassie,
Yes.
Mr. Coletta,
Yes.
Mr. Quadrado.
Yes.
Mr. Guzman,
Yes.
Mr. Martinez.
Yes.
Mr. Moxell,
Yes.
Ramadan,
Yes.
Dr. Webb,
Yes.
and Mrs. Sister.
Yes. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Motzko, seconded by Mr. Martinez, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Good night,
Good night.
Uh,